The new ISA rules are brilliant for savers because now it means that you can put up to £15,000 per tax year into some form of tax-free investment. When I say some form, you have a choice of either stocks and shares or cash, and you can put all of the money into stocks and shares ISAs or all of the money into cash ISAs or a mixture of the two. Also, it means that you can now switch your money around. So if you've already got cash ISAs or stocks and shares ISAs, you can swap them around. If you're sick of your cash ISAs, you can turn them into stocks and shares ISAs. And similarly, if you don't like your stocks and shares ISAs, you can move them into cash ones. The same rules apply though when it comes to taking your money out of ISAs. If you take your money out, you can't put it back in unless you're happy for it to be taken as part of your 15 grand. So if you want to move money between ISAs, you have to do it behind the ISA lines, as it were. You get in touch with the company that you want to move your money to, and they get in touch with your original bank or investment house, and they have to move the money for you. So the question is, what should you do with your ISA money this year? Should you put it into cash? Or should you put it into shares? And how do you do it? If you want to go for a cash ISA, in other words, a savings account that you don't pay tax on, then the best way to do it is to go and have a look at the comparison sites and see which are offering the highest interest rate. Do check it after about 6-12 months though, because the rates change, so make sure that it's still the highest, and if it isn't, switch. However, I personally would prefer it that you didn't put your money into a cash ISA, but put it all into a stocks and shares ISA, because long term, cash doesn't keep up with inflation. And ISAs really are long-term investments. They're supposed to be a kind of addition to your pension. So think about it. Stocks and shares long term are a better option. If you want to invest in a stocks and shares ISA, there's loads to choose from. In fact, possibly too much. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't put their money into stocks and shares. They just don't know where to start. So if you're like that, I would say that the cheapest and easiest thing to start with is an index tracking fund. Now, we've got a few articles on Money Magpie about how to invest in an index tracking fund. And one of the really useful things about it is that you can just do it on the phone. You can go online, fill in the form, and you tick the box that says, do you want this wrapped in an ISA? Or you can ring them up, give them your credit card details, or set up a bank standing order, whatever, direct debit. And they say, do you want it wrapped in an ISA? And you say yes. There you are. So an index tracking fund, which basically just tracks some element of the stock market, whether it's a FTSE 100, FTSE All Share or whatever, that's a nice, cheap and easy type of stocks and shares ISA to have. Then there's managed funds. Those are stocks and shares funds that are run by the guys in the city. And the problem there really is choosing a good one. There are lots of different types of funds, invest in all sorts of different types of things. And the big problem is that the majority of them don't do that well, frankly. In fact, 85% of them apparently underperform the stock market. So if you want to go for a managed fund, some of them you will have to get a broker if it's, say, for example, an investment trust. Others you won't, you can go direct. But it's really a question of finding one that has a good track record and, saying, that one I'd like wrapped in an ISA, please. If you have your own views as to what kind of companies and investments you should have in your stocks and shares ISA, then you could go for a self-select ISA. There are various companies that enable you to do this, like Hargreaves Lansdown, Interactive Investor, Best Invest, all sorts. And what they do is they kind of give you an ISA bag, and you can put into it a whole load of different investments, which could be into individual companies or what are called investment trusts, or various things. You make up your own mind. Now that's a good option if you're really interested in investing and you know what you're doing. Take a look on our website on Money Magpie to see how you can do that. So that's how you put your money into ISAs. The question then is, when do you do it? Well, the answer is as early as possible. So if you happen to have a big lump of cash right now, put it in, because the earlier you put it in, the longer your money has to grow, and of course benefit from the lovely lack of tax. But if you're on a salary, if you're getting money coming in and you haven't got a lump right now, set a standing order, a monthly standing order into your ISA account, whether it's cash or shares, at the beginning of the month when you get paid, when you pay all your other bills. So the money goes into your account for your future self. You pay yourself first, and then with the money that's left over, you can give that to the supermarkets and the restaurants, whatever. Your future self will thank you.